people here, but you guys get the picture, and I'm excited to be bringing this to you guys today. This is our third episode that we're doing, and I wanted to bring Frank on. Like I said, really excited for this. Frank's somebody for me that's been a great mentor, somebody that's given me a lot of answers to different questions that I've had in the past that have allowed me to get where I'm at now. He's very transparent, and he gives the information out freely. So I love having him on with me today. I got a list of questions for him so you guys can kind of hear his journey, how he came into this. And I love that because he's already got the recipe for all of us. And so when I ask him these questions, I hope that a lot of you guys take a lot from this, being able to learn just exactly what it is that he did to get where he's at. And sometimes I always talk to agents, and they get a little ahead of themselves in this business, and they don't understand what it really takes, how long it takes, the journey, the grind that it really takes to get to a person like Frank's position. And so I just think it's awesome that he's able to come on here and talk with us and answer some questions for us. So let's go ahead and get it started. How you doing today, Frank?
All right. Good morning. How about you? Good morning to everybody out there too. Glad you're with us.
Oh yeah. And at the end, we're going to open it up too, where people can unmute, kind of hop on and do some different questions that they might have for everybody. So excited for that. So first question I got for Frank today. What year did you get into insurance, and who got you into insurance?
So I got in the business in 1988, 35 long years ago.
That was a year before I was born there.
Right. Been doing it a while, and started with a company called Liberty National right here in LaGrange. And a guy who actually works with us now, named James Dempsey, got me into business. He stopped by and talked to me one day and said, "Hey, I'd like to talk to you about getting into business." Back in those days, you had to take a little test, a little proficiency test to see if you were someone who was meant to be in the business, so to speak. And it just had several questions on there. But anyway, I went in, took the test, scored perfectly on it. So they said, "You were made for this business." And to be honest with you, I haven't looked back since. It's the only job I've ever had. It's the only job I've ever wanted. So I've been doing it a long time, but that's how I've gotten the business. And started with them, worked for them 3 years, and then got into the final expense market. So here we are.
So let me ask you this, Frank, because this is something that I feel like everyone gets a little bit different experience in. I know for me, my training was I went out to one house, and then I learned how to fill out an application. Then I was sent out on my own and ready to rock and roll. And obviously there's been a million people in insurance that have taught me things or helped me along the way. But what was your training like when you first came in? Like what were they actually teaching you? Was it just a book of business, or was it more like how to actually sell?
So when I started with Liberty, back then you had what was called a debit or a route, and you would go out and you would collect from customers, and you had a set territory, and you could only work in that territory. And so you had to, all of your clients, all of your business you wrote was generated by yourself. You had to generate your own customers. And your job was to go out and basically door knock or ask for referrals or however you could to get in front of new people in that given territory. And so that's how it worked. And I would go out and collect, and I would try to add on to existing customers. I would talk to the neighbor, the relatives, their friends. We actually had to, every Friday, I had to sit down with James and put 40 names into a book. We used to have a little book that we would write these names in, and then I would have to go out and see those 40 people the next week and then report back to him on what was the outcome. So that's kind of how they did it back then.
I said, no leads. Here you go.
There you go. No leads.
Let's write down some family members and friends and sling some insurance.
Right.
So my next question for you is, and we're kind of getting a little bit fast forwarding a little bit, but how long were you in the business before you were like, man, I see myself succeeding. I think I want to build an agency, or I want to build a team. I want to build a structure around me. How long were you in before that even started to become a thought of yours?
So I was in the business, I would say maybe around my 7th or 8th year. The thought of hiring people first came to me, and I said, I'd kind of mastered the sales, so to speak. Sales were easy for me. I was always in the top in sales, and that just wasn't, I worked hard, but it wasn't a great challenge. But so I said, if I can do it, then maybe I could teach others how to do it. And so that's when I had the idea to start hiring people. And so I hired 5 and then got them up and going. And then I hired 5 more and then 5 more and then 5 more. And here you go. You know, you look up one day and you've got 100 agents. So
Yeah, happens quicker than
just
you
keep
think.
grinding, you know, as they say.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. The next question, I actually came up with this question. I'm trying to think. I think it was Nathan Cornegie that asked me this question earlier this week because he has an office out there in Mississippi. And a lot of time for what we do when you're running like a 3 to 5 man, 10-man shop, you don't really need an office. Kind of you've done that support for us. You have people in contracting, you have people that are in leads, you have people that are in every department. So it doesn't really require us to have that office, you know. But my question for you is like, at what time of the business were you like, hey, it's time to buy an office, it's time to get staff? Like how far were you in at that point?
So I didn't open my first office really until 2001. So I would have been in the
13
business
years.
13 years,
Yeah.
right, before I ever opened my first office. And we opened our first office, and in 2 years we outgrew that office and I had to move. Then 2 more years we outgrew that office and I had to move again. I moved 3 times before we got into the building we're in now. And I bought this building in 2006. And it's a big building, and a lot of you have been here, and so we've been here ever since.
So did you rent during that 5 years?
I did. I rented and had an opportunity to buy this building, and I said, hey, we'll grow into it. We weren't big enough to really take up the whole building at the time, but I'm always a forward-thinking guy, and I said, you know what? I'm going to invest in our future. Went ahead and bought this building, set it up, and here we are.
We're using it now.
That's right.
That's right. We're
That's
using
right.
the whole thing. So that's awesome to think is I remember talking with you, and I obviously we're all on our own journeys here, right? So some people are their big vision is I want to be a personal producer. Some people's big vision is I want to have a big agency. Some people's vision is they want to get to the level that you're at. So that's why I love these questions, because that is the thought of yours. You're like, buy, rent, don't have an office, have an office. And to hear that you were in the business for 13 years before you even started thinking about having a staff in an office. And I promise you, during those 13 years, you were probably still putting out a pretty good amount of insurance. And so you probably even could have used a staff or an office in the years previous, but you were patient, you waited. And that's one thing that's tough in this, because when we come into insurance, we start comparing ourselves to everybody that's doing well, or to even the yous that have been here so long, and you forget how long that person's been grinding to get where they're at. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so many people come in a couple of years and they think, I'm going to get an office and that's going to grow my team. No, you did things that moved the needle, that actually got things like happening, getting in the car with agents, going out. Because I talked to you so much about this. So I know I'm kind of talking for you, but right. I know exactly what you did. And then getting to where you're at now, it's like it's a totally different type of grind, but the grind is more than ever. You know what I mean? So I just love it. So my next question, how long were you still personally producing while also having a team, because you couldn't just survive off of overrides if you wanted to keep growing the business?
So I actually personally produced up until 2012. So I would get out and I would go out I would travel with everybody just like you guys do. I'd go out, travel Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, then I'd be in the office all day on Thursday and Friday. But the last policy that really wrote, or a week in the field for myself, was back in 2012. And, I would ride with agents, but I still personally produced back then. So that was kind of the timeline on that. And then after that, up until I came out of the field altogether, I would just go out. I would still travel with the team every week, and I would just rotate. I'd ride with one agent on Monday, another one on Tuesday, and another one on Wednesday. Didn't keep any of the business. I would let them have all the business, but I would just ride with them. And it got to be a pretty competitive thing. Everybody wanted to like ride with me. Hey, when do I get to ride with you? I would always bring leads, and we would just get out there and have a great time and make some money.
They wanted that 500, 700 you was about to write that week. That's a payday right there.
Correct.
That's awesome, man. All right, next question. So how hard was it to work that hard having most of your money? Because like you told me yesterday, and I don't think a lot of people get this, And that's why I wanted to ask it in this question in this way. A lot of people see a me, or they see a Cardinal, or they see a Rest Assured, they see a Scott DeLong, they see these big groups and at different levels, right? But they don't understand how truly struggling that manager was when they had 5 to 20 people. And because every dollar you have, you feel like you're either investing back in to somebody's hotel room, somebody's training, somebody's exam FX, somebody's license, somebody's state license, non-res like it. And I don't think people just see the production. People just see you having a platform. People see those things and immediately think this guy's depositing this, cash flowing this, killing it like this. But like, how hard was it? And be honest with this, because a lot of people are going through this. I mean, I've gone through this 5 different times. I talk to you every time I do. Mm-hmm. How hard is it to invest all of that cash flow when you're seeing so much in deposits and you're having to flood it right back out to be able to create a thriving business? Like, talk about how tough that is.
It's tough. And you know, what I did, as I told you, I lived off my personal business and my renewals, and I took every dime of overrides that I made out of the business and I put it back into the business. I reinvested it, whether it was, and one of the big things that we didn't talk about that I didn't mention was the lead program. You know, one thing that people don't understand about leads is once you lay that money out there to mail leads, that money doesn't come back, okay, because it's a constant churn. So you lay out, you know, at one point I had $1.5 million out on the street in leads, and that's a constant churn. And here's the thing: the more you grow, the more you have to put out there to keep the lead program flowing. So that was the big thing, and it got to a point, like I said, I had $1.5 million out there on the street in leads, and I just continued to invest, and you know, eventually it got to the point where it leveled off. I came out of the field, and I was able to live off of the overrides that the business was making. You will get there, but you've got to have the discipline to live off your personal pen. And that is a tough deal because you're having to write for yourself. You're having to help your agents. You're having to recruit. You're having to keep the back office stuff running all the day to day. The app, you know, back then we processed applications. Even now you got e-apps. So that's one thing you don't have to do these days, which makes it a lot easier.
I remember your daughter actually was the one who submitted my applications back in the day.
I'm telling you, that used to be a monumental task to submit apps. I know Tara, that was the first job she had here. She would submit apps, and she was doing 400 or 500 apps a week. Tina has done every job in the office. She's processed apps, she's contracted, she's done everything, and did all of them simultaneously at times before. So
I feel like she still does.
She does. She can do any. There's no job in this office she doesn't know how to do. And after 19 years, she's kind of stuck with me through thick and thin. So I'm really thankful for her.
That's awesome, man. And I've obviously been here to see that relationship and see how honest and real you guys get with each other. But that's the way the business works, right? It's right. Like I said, I wanted this to be something where we could pull the curtains back and people could get a real idea of what it really takes to build a business like this. Because there's so many times, and I'm going to say this 1,000 times on this Zoom, where somebody gets recruited or somebody gets on social media and they start seeing these people doing podcasts and different stuff. And they think those people are just killing it, right? Some of those guys are doing less production than our 10th biggest group, but they have the best video production you've ever seen in your life. And so, but what I'm getting at with that is there's this allure of the fake it till you make it, or the big vision. And what I love about Senior Select is there's no, like, we're getting a little bit better about the Kool-Aid, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But there's none of that. It's like, it's real. You come up to the office and people say stuff like, oh, that, like when you're out in the field, and this is just natural because I've been doing this a long time. They look at office staff and they're like, oh, they're just sitting there chatting, buy the coffee thing, buy this. And I'm like, no. Come up here and actually witness what it's like. Pull the curtains back. Be here during the week, especially Monday through Wednesdays, when you got 20 different people that put in a lead order late and now they're trying to ask for a favor, or, you know what I mean? Just different stuff. And there's problems and we work through that. But My next question I have for you, man, is what happened to you in 2013? And just be as honest as you can be about it, man.
So I've kind of gotten away from talking about this because that's old news and we put it behind us. But I will talk about it. So 2013, we were doing very well. We had hit our high water mark, doing 22 million a year. We had really built a large organization, and I had some partners, and then unfortunately, had one of them had kind of wanted to be me, I guess, for lack of a better way to put it, and kind of wanted to kind of push me out the back door and run things. And, you know, it just got to a point where it just wasn't working. And they wanted to merge with another guy named Matt Goldberg. I don't know if any of you know him. And anyway, somebody I don't want to do business with. I don't even like saying his name, to be honest with you. But I had to make a tough decision. And I had to give up everything I had. I gave up a $60,000 a month income at that point to get back control of my company. And I did that. It was the hardest thing I ever had to do. And, you know, I remember sitting in this office on a Saturday night on the steps in there without even furniture to sit on. Me and Tina Shaw, I talked about Tina earlier. Tina, it was just me and her. And she stuck with me. Everybody else left. Went with the other guys. They were told lies about what was really going on. They were told I quit and I walked out. I didn't do anything at all. I just said, I'm going to go back to running senior select. But I knew that ultimately the way that I did things, it was sustainable and it would work over a period of time. And I knew that other model would fail. So I started back doing what I know how to do, started over completely. Had some great people like a John LaFrancis, a Paul Hansen. I can go on and on. A lot of Chris Bushy, Ryan Pennell that stood by me, that stayed with me through that whole process. And slowly but surely, we built the whole thing back. And, you know, fast forward to 2019, we had the opportunity to partner with Integrity. So in 5 short years, we built the entire thing back bigger than it ever was. And, you know, that's because we stuck to what we knew. We stuck to what we knew would work, what was sustainable. Here's the thing. You have people come out and talk all the time on social media, put things out. Oh, I've got this great platform that works. At the end of the day, no platform you're on is going to work unless you make it work for you. And so I try to focus on the fundamentals, hard work. I try to give good leads, great contracts, good support, and then stay out of the agent's way. That's the big thing. And went back to the basics, took it back to the basics, and we built it back. And here we are. So
it's funny that you mentioned that, Frank, because you know what I always ask people when they tell me about this awesome system or this awesome thing that they have now. And I didn't do this back in the day because I was wet behind the ear and just ready to listen and trying to learn as much as I could all at once. But I say, show me the production. Production talks, right? Yeah. You got these groups out there that talk a big game, that have all the life lessons in the world for you, that are going to teach you how to do insurance. And then you look up their numbers, and I'm sorry if any of you guys are doing less than this, if this frustrates you, but they're doing less than 300 grand a month. And they're sitting there giving everybody advice on how to run a business. And I'm like, man, you're barely, you know what I mean? I'm not saying that's not great, but that's not you getting on a call and running a nationally thing to try to, you know what I mean? It's like, you don't have an operating business at that point. You've got about 20 to 25 agents, not 1,500 agents. You know what I mean? And it's hilarious to me. And that kind of leads me into my next question. Is said, when we say leading from the front, because that's something that we've used in this, I know I've heard you say it, I say it, everyone says it, right? You got to lead from the front. My thing is it doesn't always mean going out and writing business. Now, at the beginning, it does. For that first 5 to 20 agents, I would think that is what you are, is you're writing business, leading from the front, showing people how to do it, training and all that. But talk about leading from a front, from a being locked in on the day-to-day grind. And like, what does that mean to you? Because you're not in the field anymore. So like, what does leading from the front feel like now?
So, you know, to me, leading from the front is, number one, answering your phone and servicing your agents and your partners and your IMO partners. The biggest thing that I do, I'm here every day. I'm not some absentee guy. I don't work from off my condo on the beach, or I don't work off of a boat somewhere. I don't even have those. I come to this office every single day and work. And I do that because I want everyone to know that I am here for them. If you call me, I don't care what time of night it is, I'm going to answer my phone and I'm going to help you. Okay. Because I care. And that's the biggest thing is your relationship with your people is what gets you through the tough times. That's what keeps them from going somewhere else. That's what makes the relationship special. If your people don't think that you care about them or that they're not important to you, they're not going to stay with you because there's always going to be somebody out there offering them this or that or the other. But the one thing they can offer them is the relationship you have. That's why I sit down every Wednesday and I call everybody about their lead order. That's why when somebody calls me, no matter how minute of a detail it is or something they need done, I try to help them with that because I want them to know that they do matter. They are important to me. And that's what makes it so special for us. You know, everybody is important to me. I care about you. If you have a bad week, that hurts me just like it does you. If something's going on with your family that you're struggling with, that bothers me just like it does you because I do care about all of you. And that's why I do what I do. I care. A lot of people don't care. You know, I was talking to a guy the other day. He was with a former upline. The guy won't even take phone calls. How do you run a company when you won't even allow somebody to talk to you on the phone?
Override collector.
Exactly. Glorified override collector. That's all they are. Listen, we do make an override, true enough, but we want to earn that.
Yeah.
I owe people that. So
it's funny, man, because like when he says this, like, and I know all the people in our group and all the people in this business aren't calling you all the time in reality. But it's crazy because, like, for instance, you were on a family vacation. What was it, last week, right? Mm-hmm. And I think I called you on like a Sunday night or something. And it's like you do. It's like, and it's not like I don't think people realize how unnormal that is because when you go and the reason, and I'll lead it with this. If I call an individual agent on a Sunday, I expect that person to answer because during the week, let's be real. Like they might have thought they had it hard, but they don't know what we do. You know what I mean? So it's like they thought they had it hard, but they're going to answer because they're not worn out from just taking 100 phone calls a day, dealing with 1,000 problems a day. So they get to the weekend and they're still kind of refreshed. Whereas what the thing that I know about you, and I try to emulate this, and sometimes I even unplug more than you unplug at my level, but it's like, it could be the weekend. You could have had the hardest 5 days in a row and you're still answering the call. You're not checking out. And like that, I even struggle with that. Like sometimes I'll be like, man, if they didn't call me Monday through Friday, I went as hard as I could. I trained agents. I drove from Mississippi to Warner Robins to train different people and back home and be here for this and different stuff. And I'll make it make sense in my mind that I can unplug and stop answering some phone calls for a little bit, right? Or problems for a little bit. And like, I can honestly say that I don't even think that you have that in you.
I don't. Let me say this though. I don't do it alone. I want to mention my staff because let me tell you something. We have a great staff here. We've got so many talented people in this office. You know, just like yesterday, Megan was doing 5 different things at one time. She's assigning leads, setting up calls, doing other jobs. Tara was out on a deserved vacation this week. Well, Megan stepped up and filled in, set up a lot of calls I needed to set up. Tina has assigned leads on the weekend sometimes. Megan has assigned leads on the weekend sometimes. It's just, you know, we do what we have to do. They care too, believe it or not. They do care about the agents. They want you to succeed. They care about you. And so and when you don't succeed, it hurts them too. They all care. You know, we just got such great people that work here. Tara's the best contracting person we got. Miss Jo does some of everything. She does contracting, assigns leads. She helps with production. And Jessica's done a great job with getting our lead program, our lead drops under control, looking at different things, different reports. All the new things that she's looking at now helps us get our costs under control. And, you know, I'm so appreciative and thankful that I have such smart, just talented people working with me. So I do want to mention that. One man doesn't do what we do here. I promise you that. It's a team effort. So
there's no doubt with that. And one thing I would add to that, Frank, is in life and in different things, you get a little bit, you can get and I don't even want to use the word frustrated, but you get a little bit short tempered when you're trying to deal with problems and stuff like that. Not you in particular, but just human beings. And so the thing that I always try to get guys to realize, or women, or whoever's in the business with us, working with us, is when most of the time, unless you're a me or you or somebody that's leading a team, the only reason why you're reaching out to office staff is because you need a problem solved, or you need help with something. So you're already in an irritated state.
Yep.
Because you're needing something done. So guys, be patient. Like, not even just patient, like things don't happen overnight. Like if I were to go to a gym and say I wanted to start a gym, get equipment in there, have it built, have members, like there's a process to that. I've got to order the material, get approved. I got to get it in there. I got to build it. You know what I mean? There's so many steps, and it's so crazy how people will come into this, and this is a business that they're building, and then it's like you just want things done ASAP. And I'm like, no, like, man, contracts take a minute. Like getting your license takes a minute. If you don't do your lead orders on time, good luck. You're going to have to ask for a favor. If you know what I mean? And it's like, be patient. Don't be aggravated when you're the one asking for a favor. Be kind. I'm speaking again to myself, because you got to remind yourself of that every single week. You know what I mean?
I've literally seen Tina get so many emails that it shuts her email down. She gets so many. I mean, it's just, and I've been sitting there talking with Megan, ding, 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 just one email after. I couldn't do it. I don't know how they do it, honestly. I don't. And you talk about it, Tara, in an hour's time, she'll get 100 emails, 100 in an hour. How do you do that? Who does that?
It's so funny, because I'll go into Tara's office. I always try to catch up with her on either a Thursday or Friday on whatever contracts I missed, because I'm trying to do so many things. Mm-hmm. And she's so funny. She'll print out all the emails so that way she doesn't miss it. And then she'll like mark through them as she's going through them. And every time I walk in, she looks at me and she holds up this big, thick, like stack of papers, and she just waves it in the air at me. And it's so funny, because I'm like, I get it. Trust me. Yeah. I don't have that many emails, but I might have that many texts. But it's just, anyways, it's funny to me. So, all right, my next question for you, Frank, is where are we going? Like, if we looked forward 5 years from now, what would you want all of us to be at? Where do you want to be at? Like, where is Senior Select in 5 years?
So, and that's a great question. I've always had a goal. And I've always said this, that I wanted us to be able to do 50 million issued and paid in a year. Well, we're right on the cusp of that now, and we're going to hit that goal. There's no doubt. But honestly, I think we could even double that in the next 5 years, maybe even triple it. And I mean that. Look at what's going on with Revive. Look at what's going on with Rest Assured. Look at what's going on with the Long Sales Group. Look at what's going on with Cardinal. I mean, I can go on and on and on. We have such large groups that are just get out there and continuing to make it happen every day. I do think that, embracing technology, using technology to our advantage, and I'm not a very technological person, let's be honest. I'm just not. I'm old school. As Shannon Davy always says, old school works. Well, it does. But, these leads, the digital leads that have now come into play and are at the forefront of what we do, I think that's been game-changing for us. And I think that continuing to hone in on that, continuing to understand that technology and new ways of doing things is going to be a huge part of our success going forward. I'm always one of those guys that just doesn't like change, but change is good. And, I've had to learn to accept change, and I've had to learn to embrace change. And I think we all have to do that. And you guys have done a great job doing that. Nobody wanted to work the digital leads when we first rolled them out. I'm thankful that DeLong and his group, they jumped out there first and said, you know what, we'll go see, we'll go make it work. We'll work the bugs out. And they did. And then more and more people began to use them. And I'll tell you, we're now probably 70-30 digital to direct mail leads. That's crazy. A year ago or a year and a half ago, 18 months ago, we were just the opposite. And lead costs were just out of sight, out of control. You're talking about an agent now can buy 30 leads for $300 versus direct mail. It cost him what, $1,100?
Yeah.
That is a huge difference. Think about that. Think about all the people that would not even get in the business. That's what I love about the opportunity. You had a lot of people that just wouldn't even get in the business because they said, I can't afford $1,100 to go to work.
I remember in 2013 going into Darylyn's office and writing her a check that I did not have. And back then, you guys would finance us out 3 weeks. I don't, and I'm sorry if anybody does it that way. I don't agree with it that way. I think you need to be paying for your leads day up. So that way you're not getting people in the hole and getting them behind. You need to train them, get them paid enough during training so they can afford some leads. Now that we do digital, it makes it a lot easier to do that. Or financially invest in some leads into your guys. But I remember like writing those checks and being like, I ain't got that. Like I wrote her $2,000 in checks before I even knew what I was doing. You know what I mean? And it's wild.
Crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy. And then, you think about a guy can buy 50 leads now for less than half what 20 used to cost him or 30 used to cost him. So if you take all that in and you think about all that, I think that's where the future is. Mm-hmm. I think that's what we need to focus on is continuing to use the new and improved leads and new and improved technology, the new and improved way to write your business. I was laughing. I was talking with a guy the other day. When we wrote apps back in the day, we used to literally handwrite an app. You just filled it out and you would tear off the top page and then hand the policy to the customer right there in the house while you were in the house. It's crazy. Now, it's all done on an e-app. And then we'd have to send that in and it'd take 2 or 3 weeks to get paid. You had to collect money with the application. I mean, it was difficult to write business back then, but we did it. We did what we had to do. I never will forget when they first started telling us they were going to do phone interviews. We said, oh God, we're going to find something else to do. We're ruined. We're going to go sell cars or something. But you know what? We dealt with that. And now we don't even do phone interviews anymore. It's just all just zip, zip, zip and done. I think, and those are good things. Those are positive things. That's why I'm saying embracing change, embracing technology is the key to our future.
That's right. And I mean, even how far have we come in Medicare just over the past 3 years, and your view on it, my view on it, like where we're at, what Cardinal's doing right now is insane. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy. Like it's just wild.
We literally were at zero 3 years ago, didn't know what we were doing. And I'll give you credit. You jumped out there first and said, you know what, I'm going to go figure this out. And you did. And, we've kind of got that going now through our partnership with Premier Marketing and Integrity. And now we're doing 1,000 apps a month, every month. Juan Fuentes killing it on the Medicare side. Cardinal killing it on the Medicare side. You guys still doing what you do on the Medicare side. And this is just ancillary add-on business. This is not our core market. This is just something we're doing. But there's a lot of money to be made.
Oh, man. That's your salary money right there.
There you go. There you go.
Hey, who doesn't want a salary? So my next question for you, and this isn't really a question, it's more of a statement, but I want you to talk on it because you've told me this 100 times, and I'm actually in this stage of my business right now. I broke down on my first episode what the levels of this business were and what level you're at, what level I'm at, what level my manager's at, their downlines, and then replacing yourself to get to the next level. And so that's one thing that you've always mentioned to me. And I think you've probably changed that over the past 20 years on how you replace yourself. Because you're not just handing the baton over. When I say replace yourself, you're teaching the people what you did at their stage to get where you're at. And then you're doing that with so many different people that it's allowing you to constantly keep moving up. And so that when I say replace yourself, I don't mean like you're out of the business. I mean like the only way that you level up in this is to replace yourself with enough people doing what you did, whether it's being willing to go write business for your guys or being willing to travel different places or being willing to start breaking your team up into 2 travel. I mean, there's so many things you could get so detailed on when I talk about that, but it's like talk for a second on replacing yourself and what's the healthy version of that. And then also how long you normally know that person before you even kind of have them start to replace some stuff that you do.
So I think, the rule of thumb that I always went by is that one man can't effectively manage. And when I say manage, that means answering and doing everything they do. Now,
not
effectively more than 10 agents. Now, you do have some outliers like yourself, like a Scott DeLong. I would say I'm one of those people as well that can manage as many as you have to. But I always thought, I had a thing You get 10 good guys going, you break a leg, you pull a guy up, let him manage those, then you go hire 10 more. And then you keep doing that, you keep doing that, and you keep doing that. What that does, that allows you to grow out wide and deep at the same time. If you're trying to put everybody under one wing, number one, you're not going to be able to give them the service that they deserve and need. Number two, you're going to get so layered out that you can't grow it anymore. So you have to, like you said, you have to replace yourself. You have to look down in your organization. You have to find people that have that skill set, and you have to teach them. You have to spend time with them. You have to show them. It's just like training an agent. You have to train a manager too. And so you train them and you teach them how to manage agents and what the things they need to be doing on a daily basis to keep that going. And you reinvent yourself that way. And that's what I did. You talk, well, you and I talk all the time. I talk to so many of my managers all the time. I've talked to Kerry Bowen. I can't tell you how many hours Kerry Bowen have I spent on the phone over the years. And we talk and I talk to everybody because I constantly want to stay in touch. It's about communication, talking about, okay, I'm struggling with this. What can I do here? Well, maybe I've got a way I can help you, helping each other. And what I really love about what we have going on now is that our different groups, our different entities are talking and sharing. We were just on a sales conference, best one I've ever been on, by the way, down in the Grand Caymans, and everybody was down there just talking and supporting each other. We had so many agents there. You were there. And when we won that award with Columbia, #1 IMO, it was unbelievable. Half the room was just hollering for us because we had accomplished that. But that was something we all did together. And when you have that going on, when you have everybody sharing and supporting each other, that's special. So, but yeah, you always sow into your other people, give them the knowledge and give them the understanding of what they need to be doing. Then they can effectively manage as well.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt. And it's funny because you had mentioned something, and when my first episode, if you guys go back and watch it, is I said, man, this is going to be the most transparent insurance podcast, whatever you want to call it, tutorial training video, stuff like that. But let's talk about real quick while we're on that subject of replacing yourself. How dangerous is it to be you mentioned a little bit, but to be one leg heavy? Every single time in insurance that I've seen somebody get one leg heavy, they're no longer at the top of the building no more. Somebody's replacing them, because if you're one leg heavy, that means that person's outworking you. It's just the truth. How important is it at that level? Like, obviously that leg is important and you still need to put time into them and you still need to help them and stuff, but you need to get out there and recreate it. Like, you got to get out there and do it again and not just sit back playing golf or whatever it is that you want to do. You got to go create it again. You know what I mean?
That was one of the biggest mistakes I've ever made in my career. And I'll just be honest with you about it. That's what had a lot to do with what happened in 2014. I got one leg heavy and was letting one guy kind of do everything.
Because they get power.
That's right. I was going through a bad divorce. I was struggling with life. I was just an unhappy person and had just kind of checked out a little bit. And when you check out, I'm telling you, that's when you're dead in this business. Mm-hmm. And I learned from that. Okay. I lost my passion there for a minute, but you know what? I realized my mistake. I came back and I have more passion for this business today than I ever had. But you cannot let one person cannot be bigger than your entire organization or your team. It just can't. Everybody has value. Everybody is important, all the way down to your lowest producer to up to your highest producer, from your smallest group up to your biggest one. So you have to treat everybody the same. And I think I've tried to do a good job with doing that. Again, I have my faults, but everybody's important to me. We try to give everybody the same level of service, the same importance. But putting one man over, he's outworking. It's just like you said. If one guy has that much power, then you're not doing what you need to be doing. You need to take a look in the mirror. And I had to take a look in the mirror. I did. If you want me to be honest with you, I had to self-evaluate. I had to say, look, I got away from doing the things that made me successful. If you're struggling with something right now, I'll guarantee you, without even knowing your situation, I'll guarantee you it's because you've gotten away from doing the day-to-day, minute-to-minute, hour-to-hour things that you need to be doing that made you successful to begin with. That you just don't start being unsuccessful for no reason, okay? Mm-hmm. there's something going on. There's something that you aren't doing that you should be doing. So
That's funny
yes.
because it's like it's like when you talk to somebody, you got a million thoughts. I could take it in every direction, but it's funny because how many times do I come and sit down with you and I say I took my ball or my mind off the prize, off the task at hand because I got distracted by this little thing, and that little thing doesn't move the needle. Getting and doing it this way, like, and it's funny because in your mind things make sense, right? Because you'll make it make sense. You're like this hiring this person, doing this, getting into this way of doing it, going virtual.
You know, I've told you, you know, you when something new comes along, you start something new, you jump all in, you get excited.
Oh, I'm excited,
and you
I'm bad.
You go, okay, nothing wrong with that. But when you talk to me, what do? I pull you back. I said, okay.
Take that and just
you gotta come back and get
reel them back in.
That's right.
Reel them back in.
Okay. Remember what got you here. Okay?
That's right.
And let's get back to that.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with adding something to it. But don't focus all your time on that. Keep doing the fundamentals, doing the day-to-day grind. That is what is going to get you through the tough times. That's what's going to allow you to have steady growth, not have the ups and downs, the ebbs and flows of the business. You can avoid all that by doing the day-to-day, hour-to-hour, minute-to-minute things you need to do.
Yeah. And that's as simple as like at my level still, because I'm not big enough to I'm just not big enough. So it's like my level, man, and I can be so straightforward with it. If I'm not out in the car riding with somebody Monday through Wednesday, then I'm not doing my job. And it's funny because you can come up with, oh, we're doing about 600 grand now. Oh, we're doing millions in annuities. Oh, we're doing all these Medicare apps. Like I've earned the right to come back and work from the office. And I'll be honest, guys, when I come to the office, it's not like I'm not working. You know, I'm still grinding, but I'm not moving any needles. You know what I mean? Because I'm not the office. I'm not the office staff. That's you. So stop trying to be. You know what I mean? Like it's so funny because I talk to you all the time, and this is real too. How many insurance groups are in LaGrange with the same amount of office expense and building expense as you, and they waste so much of their time and their efforts and their energy on it when it already exists.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
It doesn't even make sense.
I don't get that, you know. And I'm like, why are you trying to? You know, we're all paying office staff. We're all paying for office buildings, and you know, it's just ridiculous. You know, we're doing the same thing. Okay. You know, I was talking to somebody yesterday, and they said it was within our group. They said, well, our leads are better than their leads. No, they're not. I think it was you I was talking to. It's the same leads. I mean, come on. You know, it is. Yep. But the difference is, okay, who's out there giving you the service you need? Who's answering your questions? Who's helping your contracts? Who's taking care of this, taking care of this, taking care of this? These things, that's what we do. How many times have I said, I'm not going to be the eloquent speaker. I'm not going to get up and be a Craig Harvey or whoever and give a long speech and bring the house down. But I tell you what I am going to do. When you call me, I'm going to answer my phone and I'm going to handle your problem.
Solve the problem.
That's right.
Yep. So my next question for you is, what's your biggest dream, man, now? Because obviously you've probably had different dreams in your life. You're at the stage where you've got plenty of children. You got a beautiful wife. You got a thriving business. Like what's your big dream now? Like what does that look like?
I want everybody in this company to realize their full potential. I want them to have the blessings that I've gotten out of life and out of my career. I want them to have the best out of life because I've had it both ways. I've had the worst and I've had the best. And I can tell you the best is much more enjoyable after you've had the worst. We're all going to struggle, but now it's my turn to pay it forward. Okay. I've got to give back to all of you what others gave back to me to help me get to where I am. Okay. And that's my dream. I want everybody here to have their dream. What did Zig Ziglar say? You know, you can have everything you want out of life or have all you want out of life if you help enough others get what they want.
Yeah.
I want to help you. Everybody listening, I want to help you. I want to help Scott DeLong. I want to help Kerry Bowen, Chase Bowen. I want to help Pedro Vega, Nick Dale. I can go on and on. Shannon Davis, Juan Fuentes, everybody. I want all of you to get what you want out of life. Okay. That's my dream. And to me, when I'm dead and gone and not here anymore, I don't want people to say, oh, Frank Buse made a lot of money. Frank Buse did this. I want them to say that man helped me. That's all. And if people will say that about me after I'm gone, he helped me be better. He helped me have a better career. He helped me and my family. if people will say that about me, then that will fulfill all my expectations.
And here, real quick, because Buddy's actually got to hop off, and Buddy helps me out a lot with these calls. So I wanted to bring him on real quick. He has something to add. Hey, Buddy, can you unmute real quick?
Yeah, baby. Hey, great stuff, guys. Frank, I love seeing you here, baby. Classing up the joint.
Yeah, man.
You make Josiah look good.
Just made him disappear real quick. So not just
I keep fading in and out.
Yeah.
We'll work on that before the next one.
Josiah's like, and you're out, Frank. Hey, but I just want to say, man, I appreciate both you guys. I think you guys should be making a bigger override off me for all you do. I'm not going to give it to you, but you guys are the reason that all these teams are growing so fast. And it starts with the top. And for all you guys who have a team or looking to build a team, man, I implore you to listen to these guys and do what they say. It's not always the fun advice they're going to give you, but you need someone who, is going to make you better. They're going to push you. So it should be hard. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it. Everyone would have a big team. So Josiah, I hope you're ready to lace up the boots, baby, and do some heavy field training coming up here over the next month. I'm so proud of my guys that, especially my new guys that have been coming on. Shout out to Brett and Trey. They've really grabbed this thing, by the horns and totally changed their life. And I'm excited to see where they're going to be going. But Josiah, I wanted to just let you know, for July, it's going to be my month where I'm concentrating on bringing a solid female presence here. They're tired of the men having all the fun, making all the money, and getting all the notoriety. So we're going to be bringing on a bunch of badass women here to really help class up the joint, not just Frank here classing up the joint. And then hopefully next time I want to see some more people with their video on. Because one thing I'll say, guys, like when you see Josiah or Frank or myself or any of these guys, they're putting in the time to get on here and pour into you guys. Man, it's just a sign of respect to be on there with video, to show them that you're here to learn and to get better and pay attention. It makes them want to work harder and do better when they see those faces that are on there paying attention. So not to spank anyone, but it just, from a leadership position, it makes it a lot more fun, and it'll
to people, not at people that way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's exciting to see all you guys on here, which is cool, and it's bigger and bigger every week, which I'm excited about. So Frank, Josiah, thank you so much, man, for doing what you do. I'm so glad to be here and surround myself with leaders like you, and it makes me better for my guys, and it makes them better too. So hate to have to jump off, but we're excited to grow, baby. And Frank, I'll see you probably at Top Golf here. You better be bringing your A game.
Yes, sir. I'm ready. June 23rd, Top Golf. Everybody be there, be square. It's going to be a fun day. So
just letting y'all know we're winning. So that's happening.
that's right.
No, I'm just kidding. But real quick here, 1 second. What's up? I got you. Check your phone, Frank. But one thing I'll say about Buddy before he hops off is I always look at my guys, and like sometimes people look at folks and maybe they get I don't even know what the word is, like they don't believe in themselves as much when they see high quality people around them doing stuff at certain levels. But I always look at it as a challenge. So like Buddy coming over here from an agency where he was doing $300,000 a month, and that's a pretty powerful person to infuse into your group, right? Well, doing that, I love it because it's actually made me better, because now I'm doing Zoom calls. Now I'm doing, you know what I mean? It's like, guys, don't be afraid of like the people that are out there that are not only challenging you, but use it, man. Like there's so many people. I tell Frank all the time in this, I'm like, man, we need to be doing these huge conferences and all this type of stuff because man, we got so many awesome guys in this that we can all link together, create a fist and punch through anything. You know what I mean? And so many times in this business, it's just natural to be like, hey, buddy's picture is hilarious.
Yeah.
But so many times in this, man, we see other people being successful, and the first thing we want to do is like chop them down, or we want to compare ourselves to them, or we want to sit there. You know what I mean? It's like you can't do that. Like the moment I started talking with Pedro and Nick, and started talking with Chase, and started talking with you, like other people, we help each other. You know what I mean? More than we hurt each other. There's plenty of leads out there. There's plenty of business. There's plenty of people to recruit. Like take people, you know what I mean? It's like help. That's all we're here to like. I promise you, every time I help somebody, my business grows. Every time I bring somebody in that I feel like might even be on a bigger level in certain things than me, they help me. My buddy Lane or Vance, I'm going to call him. That's his professional name. We decided this week when he was riding with me, but like, I got out of the gym. I got into eating bad. I got like different parts of my life outside of business had fallen apart. You know what I mean? Not everything, but you get what I mean? It's like you fall out of things. And when you get somebody with you, man, I've eaten better. I've eaten clean all week. I've worked out every day. I'm in the zone, man. And it's like, golly, like when somebody's better than you, pull them closer to you. Don't push them away.
Don't. I mean, talk to them. If they're successful, talk to them and find out why they're successful. Learn something from you. I learn something from people every day.
Oh, there's
every day. If I'm walking in a store and just somebody's waiting on me or whatever, I learn something from them. I mean, you can learn something from any person in life. Real quick, I forgot to mention Maddie earlier. She's so quiet that unfortunately I don't mention her when I should, but she works very hard. She does a lot of contracting.
She helped me out a lot this week.
She's had to do her work and a lot of Tara's this week, and she's a sweet girl who's really been a valuable asset to us here at the office. So I did want to mention her.
We stole her from the gym.
That's right, stole her from the gym.
I can't name how many. We got a couple people up here we stole from the gym. All right. So I got 3 more questions for you. I know we're taking this call a little bit longer because I definitely want to open it up for some Q&A at the end.
All right. You got 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
You got an 11 o'clock?
I do.
We got to get them out of here. All right. Well, then I'm going to skip a question because this question right here means more to me because I'm bad at this. How many other businesses, multiple businesses, Frank, have you tried to venture into that have pulled you away from insurance, which is what not only created the money for you to do the other business, but is your success line? You know what I mean? Like talk about that, man. Cause I'm guilty of that. I've done it 3 times now. You know what I mean?
Let me tell you something. I just got rid of, as you know, 6 months ago, the last one. And, I struggled and struggled and struggled with it. And it took my focus away from here. And it took my drive, so to speak, away from here for a minute. A wise man once told me, once you figure out what you can be successful at, the hard part's over with. Then all you got to do is do more of it. So, if you're good at insurance and you're making money, then all you got to do is do more of it, or teach other people how to do it, or bring other people on to do it. Quit trying to go do something else. You can be a jack of all trades and the master of none, as the old saying goes. If you're good at this, then be good at it. Be great at it. Don't try to do 15 things. I've made that mistake. I've been there. I've done that. Since I've gotten that gym out of my hair, for a little bit I have left, I have focused and honed in, and look what's happening with our business.
Right.
It's just a distraction. Distractions cause problems. So don't be distracted.
It's funny, man, because you look at it and you'll make it make sense.
Yeah.
You'll make the thing that takes you away from what's working, what's provided you the life you've had, what people count on you to do, like houses. Me, it's right now. You know what I mean? Houses.
How much money did you lose trying to teach a workout class?
So I help people lose hundreds of pounds, but definitely my bank account lost hundreds of pounds too.
Right.
So it's like, I'm with you, man. And that's why I brought that up, because we both have experienced that, because I like to think that we're both very capable human beings. And a lot of times when you believe in yourself so much, it's so easy to take on another thing. And then all of a sudden you look up and you're like, man, I'm doing more stuff outside of what makes me money and what provides for my family and what my people that I brought into this, I promised to, then you know what I mean? And it's
do you know what I
gotta
love?
back up.
You know what I love about this business that's different from any other business you could do. You can control your future. You can control what happens. It's on you. Okay. You don't have to depend on anybody else. You need to make more money, go see more leads. You need to make more money, work an extra day.
Right.
You want to hire more people? Okay, fine. Go hire them. You don't have to ask anybody. You can just do it. And you got another business you're dependent. Planet Fitness comes to LaGrange, kills us at the gym. Kills us.
Yeah.
Okay. We don't have to worry about that here.
Mm-mm.
All right. There's plenty out there.
Come on.
I promise you. Let's just roll. I mean, we don't quit trying to do other things that you can't be successful at. I failed at that gym miserably. It was a failure. It took me 13 years to admit it, but I failed at it. So I put it behind me. I am all in on this business now, and I'm going to be here and roll. So let's go.
And the last thing I'll mention and want you to talk on real quick, I know you got to get out of here, is looking in the mirror. Mm-hmm. Like, guys, so many times in this business, the grass is always greener in life on whatever is on the other side of your hardness, or like the thing that's giving you difficulty right now. And it ain't the case. Like, it's so funny because people will go out and they'll try something with greener grass. And I'm like, they're like, I got better results this week. And I'm like, yeah, because listen to you. You sound like you actually believe in what you're doing. The last 3 weeks, you sounded like Eeyore. And I'm like, you really think selling in that Eeyore state was going to work? And now you're pumped up about something that ain't even real. It's all fluff and roses, but it ain't real. And 3 weeks from now, you're going to be even getting worse results because you're not pumped up anymore.
Right.
You can't stay pumped up about something forever. You know what I mean? And it's like, man, look in the mirror. I feel like, and I feel like I'm good at that, Frank. And I feel like you're good at that. I feel like we're able to look in the mirror, look somebody in the eye and say, man, I didn't do what I was supposed to. I underperformed, and I got no business. I got no problem with anybody calling me out on that type of stuff. But guess what? You better be ready for me to give it back. And I've given it to you. You've given it to me. Like, that's just real, guys. Look in the mirror and like, assess your situation. People will be like, man, I'm trying to grow, and they won't even make it to their leads until 4:00 on a Monday when they got a 10-man team. You know what I mean? It's like everything you say has merit, and I'm listening to you until you prove to me that you ain't backing up what you're saying. You know what I mean?
Every failure I've had in this business and in my life, if I really look back and self-evaluate, there were things that I did to contribute to that, or that I didn't do. That contributed to that. And so when you have to self-evaluate. In order to make yourself better, you have to self-evaluate. You have to look at, okay, what did I miss? And 9 times out of 10, I promise you it's going to be because you got away from doing what made you successful to begin with.
11 times.
And you've got to understand, you got to be able to do that. Quit trying to reinvent the wheel. Okay. That's already been done for you. The wheel is invented. All you got to do is make it turn faster now.
That's right. And what's crazy is what production's done since everyone focuses on that. And it's so crazy because I'll say it again. It's like, because all I do is train new agents, talk to new agents, talk to people off the ledge once they're in that sophomore slump or whatever. They get the roll up for the first time. It's like, okay. And all they want to do is lash out. And I'm no different. Lash out, lash out, lash out. Not my fault. Not my fault. Everyone's fault but my own. And then you're like, no, you know what? Mm-hmm. That mindset ain't going to get me what I'm trying to get. The mindset of complete ownership is going to take me where I'm trying to go. So I love it, Frank. Thank you so much for hopping on with me today. I really enjoyed it. I hope you guys on the line got something from this. And I'm so pumped because of this is going to be an every week thing on Fridays, not always having Frank come on, but having people from even outside groups come on and just hearing from them, hearing the transparency, you know what I mean? Just hearing what it actually takes and hearing the life of what you've done to get where you're at. And so everyone else needs to take that in and use it. You know what I mean? And I
learn from my mistakes, guys. Learn from my mistakes. Be good. Love all of you. Thank you.
Y'all have a great rest of your week and a good weekend.
Hey, Brandon.